ask you to do some.
Clerk will call the roll.
Glenn Whitley, County Judge.
Here.
Roy Charles Brooks, Commissioner Precinct 1.
Present.
Devin Allen, Commissioner Precinct 2. Gary Dickus, Commissioner Precinct 3.
Here.
J.D. Johnson, Commissioner Precinct 4. Constitutes a quorum.
Thank you. Our invocation today will be delivered by Pastor Dan Morris from Lighthouse Fellowship Church in Fort Worth. After the invocation, please remain standing for our pledges. Thank you very much for coming out today.
Our Father, we're so thankful that you would hear us from your heavenly throne as we come to you in the name of Jesus, God. Thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you for the men and women who have gathered here today. We pray your blessings upon this court and what happens here today. May you guide the thoughts and hearts with wisdom and understanding. Thank you for the leaders of this community and this nation. Thank you for the freedoms that we have, and let us never take those for granted. Bless us now, O Lord, we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Well, as is obvious, our court family is short today, and I want to do a couple of things. As I have heard, and as I talk with folks on a monthly basis as we do our employee recognition or prepare, all the time I hear about how close of a family we are and how we're always there when our folks need it. And I would just tell you that a couple of our folks need your prayers today. First, I am going to read a note from Commissioner Allen. She asked me to read this in court today, and so I'm going to do that. It says, recently, in a yearly physical, my doctor discovered an ovarian cyst that needs to be removed, and while this is not a serious matter, I have been advised by my doctor that this discovery should be dealt with sooner rather than later. A minimal invasive surgical procedure has been scheduled for Tuesday, April the 2nd, today. Unfortunately, I will be unable to attend Commissioners Court meeting and other community events for approximately 2 weeks. While focused on a full and speedy recovery, I will also be in regular and consistent contact with my staff, my county team members, to ensure the work of our constituents in Precinct 2 is handled thoroughly and appropriately. My diagnosis came as a result of a yearly physical exam. I'd like to take a moment to emphasize how important annual checkups are and hope we make time in our schedules for self-care. As each of you know, I am grateful to serve, grateful for your understanding, and I look forward to being back with you all as soon as possible. Signed, Devin.
Amen.
So we will keep her in our prayers. Commissioner Johnson's wife, Margie, passed away earlier this week, and the visitation is this evening at the Biggers Funeral Home in Azle from 6 until 8, with the service tomorrow at Biggers at 2 p.m. So please, let's also keep Commissioner Johnson and his family and her family in our prayers. So it's been kind of a tough week, and I just know that as y'all all do in your various departments, we'll come together and we'll be there to help Commissioner Johnson and Commissioner Allen as they go through the next couple of weeks, what I know will be stressful weeks for both of them. So your prayers will be very, very thankful. And today, please, let's close court in memory of Margie Johnson. For that. So with that, agenda announcements, Mr. Maines?
Your Honor, we do not have any announcements at this time.
Thank you. Court members, you have before you the regular minutes of our March the 26th minutes.
Move,
Go ahead.
move approval.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. We have a memorial resolution. Commissioner Brooks, I believe you have that.
Yes, I do. It's for ratification only. It honors the life of Dr. Robert Tennyson McDaniel, a great American. He was the last of a breed of Tuskegee airmen who lived in Fort Worth and Tarrant County. He passed away a couple of weeks ago, and this resolution lifts him up before all of us. I move approval.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. And I have a ratification of a resolution for Kim Brown, who was one of our associate judges for the 323rd Court, and I'll move its approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Before we get into the employee recognition, I do want to recognize the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Guns up, guns up. First trip to the Final Four. They played some great basketball, and I know will continue to play some great basketball. And I'm very, very hopeful that next week I'll have this hat up here again with them being the national champions. So congratulations to the Texas Tech Red Raiders in the group, because I know y'all are very, very excited about this first trip to the Final Four. So congratulations.
Excellent.
I figured I'd do that before Jack and I got into our banter about our teams who were nowhere near the Final Four. But mine got closer than his did, just a second. Employee recognition. Again, this is my favorite Tuesday of every month because it is an opportunity. Well, before we do that, Commissioner, I want to pause a moment, and I want to let Commissioner Fickus do this, because after we do employee recognition, y'all will all get up and leave, and then you won't hear what he had to say. So thanks for reminding me, and I believe you have something you would like to say about March of Dimes.
You can join the team and be part of the Tarrant County Walk for Babies. And this is on April 13th at the Panther Pavilion. And I want to say it's at 8 or 8:30. 8:30 at Panther Pavilion. Tom Wilder is going to be the chairman of the donut committee. Okay? So
GK was real nervous about what he was going to be chairman of.
He's going to be there with lots of donuts. And let me tell you what you can get when you register. If you register and you pay $25, you get a great looking t-shirt, or even better, if you register and put up $50, you get a great t-shirt and you get your very own Tarrant County umbrella. Okay? How many of you have a Tarrant County umbrella? Nobody. That's right. And this is your opportunity to have a limited edition, signed and numbered.
Signed and numbered?
How many did we buy? How many?
We can get more. That's a first.
They're limited edition. And they're really cool.
Who's signing them?
You are, Judge. You're the judge. Anyway, this is going to be on the 13th. All your departments, we really want to have a great turnout. You're going to see these buckets around where you're working at, and I believe you can sign up in them. You can put money in them. What else, Devin? Your
Departments have the information, and Amber Norris will be sending out another email today with the information to register, and y'all can contact our office. And if you want to give a donation or be a part of the team, we are open to having you all participate this year.
I tried to get a purple one, but I couldn't. So, anyway. Okay. Remember, sign up. We're going to have a great day on the 13th, and it's for the babies.
If there's anything like the Heart Walk, you pay extra for those umbrellas, I'll tell
Okay?
you.
Thank you.
I have been texted a little message that says not only are Texas Tech's Red Raiders in the Final Four, but the Baylor women are also in the Final Four.
Excellent.
So sick 'em Bears.
TCU.
And what's TCU in?
In NIT finals.
finals.
They're
And University of Texas is in the NIT finals. And they play each other
Tonight.
Tuesday. Tonight?
That would be tonight.
Tonight.
Tuesday would be tonight. Where Texas is well represented. Arkansas and Louisiana, not so much. Right, Jack? Where'd Jack go?
Jack's not in the room.
Jack's outside. Yeah, well, he ought to be. Okay, now we'll get to our employee recognition. And again, I want to remind those who've been here before know that I have somewhat of a problem with pronunciations at times. So for you rookies, you 5-year folks, if you know where you are in the alphabet and it sounds like your name, stand up. And we'll kind of go from there. So we'll get all the 5 years standing up, and then at that point in time, we'll clap for you, and then we'll move on to the 10-year folks. So beginning with our 5-year employees, the first is Jordan Bean from the Sheriff's Office. Stephen Brewer from Precinct 4. Makita Bryant, Sheriff's Office. Jennifer Chance, Tax Office. Thomas Cleveland, Sheriff's Office. Cynthia Fannin, Justice of the Peace, Precinct 8. Stephen Gill, Sheriff's Office. Ryan Grazier, Sheriff's Office. Veronica Guess, County Clerk. Anthony Jarmello, Precinct 3.
Go, Anthony.
Steve Ledensma, Precinct 1. Elliot Lester, Human Resources.
Elliot, man. What's he got? Ooh.
Bring your own cheering section there, didn't you? It's going to cost y'all for that. Leslie Marr, District Clerk's Office. Philip Martinez, Jr., Facilities Management. Antoinette Morrow, Sheriff's Office. Christopher Munoz, yeah, that's it, Sheriff's Office. Jesus Rios, Sheriff's Office. DeMarcus Sanders, Facilities Management. Antonio Sanoyo, Sheriff's Office. These difficult ones, I pronounce them and then they're still not here. Sally Warren, Sheriff's Office. There's Sally. Zachary Zeller, Juvenile Services. These are our 5-year employees. Let's give them a big hand. Welcome to be seated. Now for our 10-year employees. Sheila Buchanan, Sheriff's Office. Amber Davis, Tax Office. Joy Dobbins, Juvenile Services. Ike Dyckman, Sheriff's Office. Lester Espray, Sheriff's Office. Peggy Hackworth, Sheriff's Office. John Hamilton, Sheriff's Office. Michael Hammond, Juvenile Services. Michael. Marion King, Sheriff's Office. Leah Klein, Sheriff's Office. Latoya Morgan, Sheriff's Office. Letitia Quintana, Public Health. Robert Segura, Sheriff's Office. Okay, how do you pronounce that last name? Segura. Well, that was close. I got the "sa" right.
You got the S right.
Yeah. Heather Thompson, Tax Office. These are our 10-year employees. Let's get into them. Now for our 15-year, Linda Calermi, Precinct 1. Aaron Collins, Juvenile Services. Pauline Lodrick. Lodrick. Well, I figured it was somewhere around there. Public Health. Luann Pelletier, Juvenile Services. Whitney Thorpe, Public Health. And Gregory Wolford, Information Technology. These are our 15-year employees. Now for our 20-year employees, Ronald Cabana, Facilities Management. Valerie Holt, Sheriff's Office. Heather Panchetti. Thank you. Darren Thomas, Juvenile Services. And Barbara Whaley, Housing. Thank y'all. These are our 20. Now for our 25 plus, our first 25-year employee is Loretta Crockett with the Sheriff's Office. There she is. Started off in the Belknap facility, then went to Cold Springs in Green Bay, back to Belknap, and now she's in extradition. When I asked her about memorable moments, she said, you know, we talk to a lot of people over the phone. And she says, it's always exciting for me when I get to put a face, when I actually meet the individuals and get an opportunity to put a face with the voice. And you know, I think we're all like that. There'll be those individuals that we talk with all the time, and we finally get to meet them and we say, wow, that was exactly who I expected, or boy, I never expected that person. It happens both ways, folks. What she likes most is the people that she has a chance to work with, but she also says, I love meeting new people, and in this job I get a chance to do that. She said, I have enjoyed working for the county. The time has really gone by. She had only planned on being with the county, and this is another thing that I hear all too often. Yeah, I came to work for the county. I was just going to be here for a couple of years, and then I blinked, and it's been 25. She said it's been a great, great career. She and I guess you partner with somebody in your extraditions, and they've been together for 14 years, and she couldn't say enough good things about you. So I know that she's really enjoyed that. Loretta, thank you very much for the 25 years you've given it to us. Next is Chris Durin from the Criminal District Attorney's Office. There's Chris. Started off in, no, I said it again. I did this again. For some reason, I look at Criminal District and I said attorney, and it's not attorney's office. He works in court number 2. And, we were talking this weekend, and he kept saying, well, I was with Judge Drago in District Court number 4, and then I was with Judge Salvat, and I think you were with Judge Thomas for a little bit. And I said, well, when did you go to the District Attorney's Office? And he said, I'm not with the District Attorney's Office. So I keep trying to give him to Sharon over here, but, he is the court bailiff in Criminal District Court number 2. I asked him about memorable moments, and he said, some of the high-profile cases, I think you mentioned the 2 cadets that were charged with murder several years ago.
Wow.
I asked him about what he likes most. He said, it's a great job. He said, I love what I have an opportunity to do. He said, it's a big family, and everybody works at getting along and helping one another out. Again, he said that the time has flown by, that he's been very proud to have had an opportunity to work with the county, and that he's really feels like he's been blessed to have been able to work with the judges that he's worked with over the years. Chris, thank you very much for your 25 years of service. With the courts, not the Criminal District Attorney's Office. Next is Keith Hollandback from the Sheriff's Office, 25 years. Started off in the dispatch area and then I guess went to warrants, the criminal warrants section. Was in judicial services for a while, served in the mental warrants area and patrol, and is now the lieutenant over the narcotics task force area. She said what I like most is the versatility, and she said I've had an opportunity to work for some great supervisors and I've had some great mentors in the 25 years that I have been with the county. She said, I was very young, and yeah, you must have been a baby when you came to work with me. But she said, I have had some great people who have mentored me, and she said, as a young woman coming into basically a man-dominated department, I feel like I had some folks who really helped me as I progressed through the ranks and through the area of the Sheriff's Department. And Keitha, we want to thank you very, very much for your 25 years with the department. Thank you. Next is Jeanette Mitchell with the Sheriff's Office. There she is. Started in Central Reception, then went into warrants, and that was when the warrants were both civil and criminal. Then she went to accounting, and now she's in the records area. It was interesting because when I asked her the most memorable moment, she said, I've seen a lot of people come through the Central Reception area, and she also mentioned the cadets when they were arrested, and then also I think a couple of biker gangs when they came through. She says, I have loved the opportunity and the people that I've had a chance to meet. We really do work as a family. Another one that said, I never thought I'd be here. For as long as I've been here, the time has just flown by. She said, I have seen 3 different sheriffs over the 25 years. She said, each one has been different and unique in their own way. She said, most recently, she said, with this last fall, they did the no shave. The sheriff did the no shave in an effort to raise money for our law enforcement memorial. And she said, so that was something seeing these guys with facial hair, I'd never seen them like that before. Excuse me. She says, that was different. She said, I was a newlywed when I came to work for the county. And so in addition to celebrating 25 years with the county, she's also celebrating 25 years of marriage. Jeanette, thank you very, very much for the Next is Sonia Nobles Wilson with Public Health. Started in public health as a floater, but between, I guess, clinic recalls to be sure that people were coming back for their vacations, their vaccinations. It's no vacation, but we do need them to come back for their vaccinations. We need them to get their vaccinations. I'll get up on my soapbox a little bit here. She is now an immunization auditor, so that means she goes around to various places and makes sure they've got the records and keep things up to date. She said the memorable moments, when she first came to work, she spent her first month traveling all over the county because there was a measles outbreak. 25 years later, still, what do we have now?
A measles
We have a measles outbreak. Just so I can get myself in a lot of good trouble, get your vaccinations. She said, I love my coworkers. She said, I love getting to go out to the schools, the daycare centers, and helping them to stay up to date, and getting to talk with them and to work with them. And she said it's really something she enjoys. She says working for the county has been a great opportunity and a great experience. Sonia, thank you very, very much for your 25 years of service. Next is Lori Parker with Cscd. There's Lori. Now, this lady's dedicated. She started off as a volunteer, and then she was part-time, and then finally she became a probation officer aide, and then she was full-time, so then she began qualifying for the benefits. But she worked with us for a while before she did that. She then became a probation officer working on the transferring in area, and she's now in downtown as an assessment officer. She said, over the years, I've seen a lot of changes in the department. She said, I love the people that I've had a chance to work with, the opportunities for continuing education. She said the supervisors she's had a chance to work for have been great. She said, I love where I'm at. I love what I do. And I believe your husband's with you today. Stand on up and let us recognize you also. Thank you for supporting her for the 25 years that she's been in Tarrant County. Lori, thank you for those 25 years of service. Next is Eloy Rivera's Precinct 3. Eloy came to work a little bit before I got there. And he started out in Precinct 3. He's an operator 4. Memorable jobs were, he said, I was working on North Tarrant Parkway one day, and Ross Perot Jr. landed the helicopter out there. He said, I also got to do a lot of the work on the AT&T parking lots, and that was something he remembered. He said, I love the people that I've had a chance to work with, the family atmosphere around the shop. And Eloy's going to be retiring in May. He drives 60 miles every day back and forth from around Hill County, and he's just got some stuff that he needs to be taken care of around there. And he said, okay, it's time for me to retire. Eloy said, what I remember, one of the things I remember is I was hired by Ken Mayfield. And Ken was the director of field operations when I became commissioner, and Ken passed away. Rather, it was pretty swift. He had cancer, and we lost Ken. But he said, if you look around over the years, he said there's been a lot of folks that we kind of lost, and he said I'm going to miss them. I do miss them, and he said I'll miss the folks in Tarrant County. Eloy, thank you very much for your 25 years of service. Good luck. Next is Richard Seegers with the Sheriff's Office, 25 years. There's Richard. Started off as a booking clerk, started in actually 1992, and then left for about 10 months in 98, and then when he came back, he came into the confinement area. He worked in classifications in the bond desk, and then spent some time in judicial and in extradition, and he's now back in the civil courts building in the judicial area. He said, I love the people that I've had a chance to work with over the years. Benefits to the county are good. He said that, really he came to work with the county when he was pretty young, and he said the county gave him a sense of direction and then a career. And he said, I will always appreciate that. He said the county has been very, very good to him. Richard, thank you very much for your 25 years of service. Next is Lori Brown with the District Clerk's Office, and she's been here 30 years. She said, I started out at the front desk in the District Clerk's Office, and 3 months later moved over to the indictments area, and I've been there ever since. She mentioned, as far as memorable moments, some of the high-profile indictments. She said, I've seen the area grow from typewriters to computers, and now it's gone paperless. What I like most, she said, was the people that she's had a chance to work with, the stability. When I asked her about anything else, she said, sometimes this looks like a scene out of Law and Order, but you just think this would never happen. Well, sometimes it does. She said, I took a visiting aunt down one day to see a trial, and she was hooked and ready to go back the next day. She said, I've seen a lot of changes, and she said, I just like the way and like what she's had a chance to watch and to see and observe over the years. Lori, thank you very much for your 30 years of service. Next is Cynthia Hernandez Winnett, District Attorney's Office. Is Cynthia here? Well, I know. She retired last month, or last week, actually. And I had talked with her, and I said, well, you are making on down here. And she said, well, I'll try and see, but obviously she's sleeping in today, and she don't have to come down here, so to heck with us. No, she served for 30 years. I think since she retired last week, her daughter had graduated from college. Her and her husband have some land down around Brownwood, and I think they're going to spend a little time down around Brownwood. I'd say if you see Lori, but not Lori, if you see Cynthia, tell her congratulations, but you ain't going to see her. Next is Beryl Landry with the medical examiner's office. There she is. Started out in the toxology area and then moved over to the testing for drugs and poisons and then testing for DWI.
Wow.
When I asked her about memorable moments, she brought up the Delta crash in 1988, as well as the Branch Davidian. Just horrific event. She said, I like the people that I've had a chance to work with. She said, I love the benefits that we've got. Again, never thought she'd be here this long. But she said, I really enjoy it. She said a lot of folks around her have retired. She is a cancer survivor now for 12 years. I asked her kind of what had happened over the last 5 years, and she says nothing major, and she said that's a good thing. She's now licensed because the state now, I guess, recently decided that everybody had to be licensed that worked over there, and so she's been licensed. She said, she mentioned last time that she has a lot of nieces and nephews, and when I talked with her this weekend, she said, well, I have a nephew who's just completed his residency and is coming back to this area, and he's going to be an anesthesiologist.
Excellent.
So, Beryl, we thank you very much for your 30 years of service with Tarrant County. That's a total of 725 years, and we really want to thank each and every one of you for the job you do day in and day out, and you don't just treat it as a job to where you do just the minimum amount to get by. I know you all put in the extra mile, and that you care about the people whose lives you touch, whether you're touching them as a result of them being in the jail and maybe not having made the right choices. You still impact their lives, and we appreciate that very much. And we just want to tell you that, and we wish that there was more we could do, but we do very, very much appreciate the dedication, the professionalism that you and the passion that you bring to your jobs. We've got refreshments back here in 504C. I don't think Wilder's eat all of it, but I noticed that he was missing when we called about Diamond Donuts. I see he's back over at Texan now. So thank y'all very much. Y'all have a great day.
Yeah, I'm gonna take
We ain't gonna go without you.
It's not that they declined us, they declined. And we said from the very beginning, and the ones that I've been able to review, and I know the ones that I haven't been able to review, cannot work from home. And they accept that, and they try to renegotiate that contract.
First thing I'll do is I'll move that we receive and file the employee recognition.
Second.
We have a motion to second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Court members, you have before you the consent agenda.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion to second to approve the consent agenda. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Mr. Manius.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the Court, we have two items for you this morning. The first item, we're requesting that the Commissioners Court establish the J.D. Johnson Annual Youth Leadership and Service Award. This is a request that is coming from AgriLife, and Joan Jacobson, who has just recently retired from the county, was the one who began to initiate this. Basically what it does, it allows the Extension Director to contact the 4-H club manager and other FFA advisors in Tarrant County in April of each year, outlining the criteria and detailing the essay format and deadline for applications. In your court communication, there's an attachment that goes through all of the different criteria, and this would be presented in court. There would be a decision made by AgriLife, and they would ask that we provide them, or we give the honoree a plaque identifying this as the recipient of the J.D. Johnson Award. Staff has looked at it, and we're recommending approval.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion to second. What I would like to make sure happens is that Joan, I would like for Joan to come, if she can, next week. Hopefully, Commissioner Johnson will be able to be with us next week. But basically, I'm sure he's heard of this, or he may have heard of this by now, but I would like for her to come, and now that we've approved this, be able to announce that
Sure.
this has been created in his honor, and do that at that point in time.
And so we'll ask Joan to come, but let me recognize someone right now who is the Interim Director, and this is Robin Hall. Robin, are you here? Of course, there she is. She's our Interim Director. Joan was going to be here today also, but she is not feeling well.
Okay.
But yes, we will contact her.
Motion passes unanimously.
Members of the Court, we can move to item number 2. We're requesting that the court approve payment of an invoice in the amount of $730 for data IT systems for software support. This is an item out of the Elections Administration Office. This software maintenance is for our inventory system that we currently have, which renews every year for the past several years, and this is a sole source. The invoice was originally sent to a person that is no longer employed by Tarrant County, so the invoice was never processed. The chief bookkeeper of the elections department realized that, or was trying to figure out where that invoice was, contacted the firm. They have resent that invoice, and at this time we're requesting payment.
Move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion is second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Tidwell.
We have one item we're asking the court to consider this morning, and that is to receive and file the auditor's report of the financial and system controls related to the medical examiner's office.
Move approval.
Second.
A motion is second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Ms. Clem.
Move to receive and file the personnel agenda.
Second.
A motion is second to receive and file the personnel agenda. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you and good morning.
Good morning, Tim.
We have one additional item, that's item 2. We're asking the court to approve out-of-class pay extensions for our budget department. As described in your court communique, Mr. Manius is requesting the continuation of out-of-class pay to both the interim budget director and the interim assistant budget director through mid-July at an impact to the general fund of about $3,400. That does include fringe benefits, and the entire cost should be or will be offset by salary savings.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion is second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Mr. Beecham.
Good morning.
We're going to have a pity party, but nobody will come.
There's a whole room full of people, but we have one item for consideration this morning. Our first item is a bid award recommendation for bid 2019-115, signing a contract for miscellaneous office furniture. Our recommendation be toward on a per unit price basis, discount off list price, awarding category 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 to the vendors meeting all specifications as shown in your court communique.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion is second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Are there any appointments today? There being none, then you have before you the claims, including the addendum.
Move approval of the claims, including the addendum.
Second.
We have a motion is second to approve the claims, including the addendum. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Briefing items, Mr. Manius.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the court, we have two items to bring to you this morning. The first is a tax abatement briefing concerning Winter LLC. Ms. McMillan is here to address the court at this time.
Continue. Well, we just don't think about those things because there's usually 5 of us up here.
Commissioners, Judge, today I want to bring to you some information about a tax abatement request from Winter LLC for redevelopment of an existing data center site adjacent to its current data center location in Alliance Gateway Park in the city of Fort Worth. You may recall in 2015 and 2016, both, Tarrant County approved participation with the city of Fort Worth in tax abatement for Winter LLC for the development of this multi-building data center off of 170 in the Alliance Gateway. Going crazy. Okay. Try again. As you can see by the yellow arrow on the screen, that points to the data facility that's currently in place. There's 3 buildings that were constructed and went on the tax rolls last year, and the other 2 to the upper left are being finished up this year. Those front on 170. The site for the expansion is behind it and shown where the orange arrows are pointing to. In order to meet the growth demands from its parent company, Facebook, Winter LLC is now considering expansion of its data center footprint to this adjacent site, which currently houses the QTS data center that Blue Cross Blue Shield used to be in. These planned expansion improvements include finish out of approximately 13,000 square feet of that current data facility and the addition of a new 91,000 square foot facility on the site. This next slide shows you where the existing building is, and then the two parcels to both sides of that building that would eventually be able to house brand new facilities. Within the existing building, they will utilize some of that space and finish it out for data center usage also. The initial investment is expected to be in excess of $50 million for the new building and real property improvements, and another $50 million in new business personal property to the site over the next 3 years. As I showed you, the location allows for additional investment opportunities of a second facility of around the same $100 million plus investment. The expansion is expected to add a minimum of 4 full-time jobs with all the benefits that are available to the current Facebook employees. Right now, they have approximately 61 employees on the site, but that does not include all of the contractor employees for security, maintenance, and a whole host of other hospitality related, because they've got food services and everything else that's on site. The previous tax abatements for those 5 buildings were 5 individual tax abatements for each building. What we're looking at here is 1 tax abatement for 10 years that cover any expansion on that site. So it would be for the initial expansion, and should they choose to do the second phase to do the other building, it would all fall within that 10-year period. So what would ever happen within those 10 years?
So it's not, if they do one 2 years from now, it's
It'll
not
just
a
have
10-year
8 years.
beginning, then it'd be.
Correct.
What would be left of that 10-year abatement?
Yes, sir. So the City of Fort Worth has already approved a new reinvestment zone for this site, along with a 1-year tax abatement, and then their additional incentives are being wrapped up in their economic program agreement that they do under Section 380, which is over a 20-year period of time, and that provides up to 20 years of incentives in the form of grants tied to increased real and personal property sales taxes, electric franchise fees, and other revenues. Now, the county is being requested to participate in this tax abatement at the same terms that we did for the other 5 abatements, which would be 60% maximum for the county and 40% maximum for the hospital district. For any improvements made within that existing building site, those only the business personal property will be subject to tax abatement. Nothing that's in the current building in terms of real property. We will maintain all taxable value on that real property that's on site.
For the new buildings?
For the existing building. So the 13,000 square foot finish out, the existing building remains on the tax roll. Right now it's valued at around $50 million. That remains on the tax roll. Any new business personal property they put on would be subject to tax abatement. Personal property only. The new buildings they put on in that parcel 3 and parcel 4, they would have tax abatement for real and personal property.
Okay.
Lisa, let me ask you a couple of questions. This is the Facebook project, as we call it. The 5 buildings that they originally, actually it was 3 and they've added some. What's the total value on that?
Last year, approximately $1 billion of new value was added to the tax rolls with those 3 buildings.
3 buildings.
3 buildings.
So when they get 5 plus this one.
They're approximately, they had, each one had a minimum investment value of $250 million was required. That included real property of about $150 million and about $100 million in business personal property. 250 total million for each building.
Okay. Just for information, Facebook about 10 days ago, I was at a meeting there, and they presented awards, financial awards or grants to 15 different local nonprofits throughout Fort Worth. And Fort Worth ISD received actually one of the larger ones, but the total amount was in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I thought it was just remarkable that a company that had really just recently moved here was getting that involved and doing those kind of things. And it was great to see that happen. And I commend Facebook for taking that initiative to recognize those companies, those entities, and those groups, and there's people like Community Storehouse and Six Stones and others, and so it was really it was very impressive. So,
based on this,
unless you got some more.
Well, what we're asking today is I'm just briefing on this, and I did want to let you know that based on the estimated new $100 million value to be added for this expansion project, we're expecting that at a 60% rate, the 10-year tax abatement for the county would be about $1.4 million, and it would be just under $900,000 for the hospital district. And again,
that's the abated amount.
That's the abated amount.
So of that is what? Exactly.
And we estimate that including that current building, to be a revenue of approximately $210,000 a year, so $2.1 million over the 10 years for the county, and about $247,000 a year to the hospital district. So what we'll do now is we wanted to present this to you.
Okay.
The city of Fort Worth is finishing up their tax abatement agreement, and as soon as they get that to us, then we will then bring that back, our tax abatement agreements, to the Commissioner's Court for approval.
Okay.
Any other question? Paul Wageman is here in the audience representing Winter LLC.
Well, I will say this also. 2 years ago, when we had the groundbreaking, that tract of land was paying $2,500 in taxes. So, quite a difference.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're very excited about that, and again, I want to echo what Commissioner Fickus has said. Facebook has been a great partner, community partner, and their people have gotten involved. And as you said, there may not be a whole lot of Facebook, quote unquote, employees running around. There are a whole lot of folks running around in those buildings as far as contractors, facilities, security. They're probably in excess of 200 to 300 employees or workers when you look at that, maybe even more.
Well, and just to add to that, when we were looking at full-time on that site, Facebook employees come in from all over California. They're coming in constantly, so when you ever go out there to the site, there's a lot of Facebook employees there. They just may not be totally based there. But every time they come in, they are staying at hotels all around our area. A lot of them like to come in and stay downtown because so they can eat and shop around here. A lot stay up in the Alliance area, but those are hotel nights too when they come in town.
Also explains why Roanoke is putting a hotel in there.
Yeah, maybe so.
In their
Thank you.
community. Thank you, Lisa.
Members of the Court, we have one additional item to bring to you this morning. This concerns the legislative update. Mr. Schaffner has provided a memorandum to you that details some of the activities that are currently going on in Austin. Just like to point a couple of them out and then possibly generate some discussion on at least two items. The first one is HB 1, which is the House Appropriations Bill. It is now passed the House and is over in the Senate. There were just a minimum number of amendments to that particular bill. One bill I'd like to also point out to you is Senate Bill 702 by Bentoncourt. This passed out of the Senate with a vote of 27-4. The interesting thing about this bill is that the bill requires that the Commissioner's Court approve expenditures for county officials and employees that are expected to be incurred either directly or indirectly relating to potential legislation. There's a real push by the state to have locals capture all direct and indirect costs as it relates to any type of education or lobbying efforts that we have at the state level. So it's already out of the Senate. We're tracking it, and we'll be continuing to discuss that particular item with you as it moves forward. It includes not just activities of the Commissioner's Court, but activities of all employees and officials from at the county level. So we'll be, as I said, we'll be watching that. Two items that we might want to talk a little bit about, and Mr. Schaffner asked that we have some conversations on this. One deals with fireworks legislation. There are a number of pro fireworks bills that are currently working through the system. I believe I might have given you a sheet on some information on that earlier today. We have limited this court has limited the number of days and the actual days fireworks can be sold, actual events. This begins to include additional days and also the ability for someone who sells fireworks actually to get what they call a jabber bill, which would be applied directly to the state where they could sell fireworks year round. So we're going to be doing some more research on that, but we don't have 5 of our court members here today, so we'll need to bring that back whenever we do. But I would like to get some impressions from the court on this, so that I can at least advise Mr. Schaffner how he might want to proceed on that. The second one deals with the JP jurisdiction. Currently, jurisdiction in small claims court in a JP court is $10,000. There's a bill which would raise that to $20,000. I know that we've had conversations with each individual member of the court on this, and we've also talked with the budget director about starting to put some data together. The problem with a bill like this is JPs are not courts of record, and so that may double stress our system if someone wants to move forward with a decision that they didn't like and either appeal it or have a new trial. So we ask that if you have any comments on either of these two bills, if you'll let us know. Yes, sir. I'm sorry, Judge.
Yeah, let's go ahead.
I oppose any bill that would increase fireworks, and I support any bill that would eliminate fireworks in the county, especially certainly our county. And I believe I would be in opposition to the JP raising that to $20,000. I think because the lack of it being a court of record, you start talking that kind of money, you're going to be every one of them's going to get appealed up to the goes to what, the county civil courts,
County court of laws.
county court of law. Same.
Yeah.
I virtually agree with every word that Commissioner Fickus stated. I don't know that I'd go so far as to eliminate an entire industry from being able to do business in our county, but there are significant costs to the county from the sale and use of fireworks within our jurisdiction. It gets very dry here, and the possibility of fireworks sparking grass fires and thus causing the mobilization of all kinds of public resources to have to fight those fires, that's a burden on every taxpayer in this county. So I'm against it. As far as the JP courts, I raised 2 lawyer children.
I'm sorry.
Well, I'm not. The ability of lawyers to forum shop, I think, is something that has gone much too far. I think this is a forum shopping bill, and it's a bad old bill. We ought to be against it. $10,000 is a sufficient amount to designate something as a small claim. When you get above that amount, I don't think you're talking about a small claim anymore. You're talking about a large claim that someone is trying to get into a more friendly venue so that they can get the judgment that they prefer. That's not a right under the law, and I oppose this vigorously.
I guess, and I would take it, I guess, from the standpoint, first off, of the fireworks, this court has always opposed any expansion of the fireworks regulations or any of that, and I am concerned that it will be a couple of weeks before we have a full court again. And so I would say to Mr. Schaffner that I would like to see him, and unless I hear objections, which I haven't heard thus far, I would like to see him oppose any expansion of the fireworks deal. And I know that, you know, our policy says that as a court, but I think what I would have you say that as a majority of the court has said they are against any expansion, and that as soon as we can get the full court in here, we'll see if we can't get a resolution to that effect.
Absolutely.
With regards to the JP deal, I know that we've already heard requests for additional staff in anticipation of this. I would like for us to work up some sort of a forecast, and I would like for us to have a meeting with the JPs, because with all the pressure that we keep hearing about 2.5% caps and everything else that's going on, the last thing in the world I feel like we need to be doing is creating something which is going to cause significant increases without significant chance to recover that through court fees and different things on that line. So if we're limited right now in the amount of fees we can charge for these cases, then I want us to do a forecast that says if we have the kind of increase that we think we are, how much money are we going to be talking about losing? Because, you know, I don't want to just go out and oppose it, but I do agree with what Commissioner Brooks and what Commissioner Fickus have said. You know, JPs have been kind of labeled, that's kind of the small, you know, it's people's court, small claims, and we start getting at $20,000 level. We're not talking about something where people should be able to go in and do their own cases, or they're going to find themselves set up against attorneys, and it's going to make it much more difficult for the people to be able to do what this court was intended to be able to do in the first place. So, you know, I guess I will say before I come out and want to vehemently oppose it, I'd like to get some sort of an estimate as to what the costs are going to be. But I want to tell you, if we can't recover the full cost of those courts, then I don't see any way that I'm going to support expanding the personnel. I mean, or having to expand the number of JPs. We can actually go up to 16 JP courts. We currently have 8. Some counties have 10, 12 more. But you know, I'm not looking for, as Commissioner Brooks indicated, you know, an attorney that says, okay, I'm going to shop it. I'll see if I can win it to JP level. And if I can, I know that that's just kind of that was a trial. That was just kind of okay, let's see what happens, or see where the thing is, and then we can immediately move on and go back up to a county court at law. So we need that done fairly soon, and I would like for us to have a meeting with the JPs, because I'm not excited about, I don't like going out and having to oppose bills by other electeds. We've done that. I'm sure we'll do it again in the future, but I would at least like to have had an opportunity to talk with them about it before we go out and kind of explain what our position is, because I don't know if you've started receiving that, but you're going to get requests for additional people. And I don't know if we may have room in some of our courts to house those additional people. I can think of one or two who were busting at the seams out already, and the thought of adding another position or positions is just not something which we can do without having to then find new space. So it keeps, increasing the cost, and that's not something I'm willing to do. So if we can get that done in the next couple of weeks, I'd like to get that done, or as quickly as possible.
Okay, thank you, members. Members, I'll attempt to answer any questions you may have on Mr. Schaffner's memo. If not, that's all we have at this time, Your Honor.
Okay, with that, then we'll recess our open meeting and proceed to close to discuss items exempted under section 551.071, 072, 074, 076, and 087 of the Texas Government Code. Having returned from closed session, there being no business to conduct at this time, we now stand adjourned.
See you next week.